This is a tier list, but this is a normal tier list. I'm not here to make a tier list, actually. I started a trend of ranking all of my mains. I guess that's a good way of saying that, right? So you might have seen a couple. Sajam made one. JM Cross made one. I actually made another one based off Sajam's because I like the way he did it. He did his. And then Diaphone also made one, right? Of people ranking their mains based off something. And what I'm going to say, I'm going to do something that's going to change the tier list game forever. No more. GG's. We're done. We are done. We are done. We are done. What am I done with? No more letter tier list from me ever again. Ever. I hope that people will pick up on this. I hope that in tier lists from now on, people, they don't have to do it the way I do it. They make a tier list where they specify what is really important to them in characters and rank them that way. And you want to know what's funny is that the reason actually comes from like past Dragon Ball tier lists where some people get the idea that the letters mean what they mean, and some people really fight against that. So, for example, if I was going to do a letter tier list in Strive right now based off like a previous patch, like last patch, right? I would probably do something like this. Maybe. What does it say? Let's say like I'm just gonna make some shit up, right? Let's make some shit up real quick. So okay, so the top tier.gg refuses to have soul dance, right? But yeah, so we just put characters in random places. What is this supposed to mean? The S plus is like the characters are borderline ridiculous, borderline broken. The lowest tier being B is saying that yes, these are the weakest characters in the game. However, I do not think they are unplayable. I think they're fine. And the issue is that just the top tiers are really strong, not the weak characters are weak. If I was to use an older game, like a game like BBCS1, where I think that game has like a D tier, like a legitimate D tier with trash characters, that would be something else. With most modern games, I don't think have this problem. But some people have the argument that that's bullshit. And the reason why they say that is that if it's the bottom tier, they're just the worst. You're coping. But from playing so many fighting games, I've played some games where the weakest characters just don't exist. A really easy one that probably everyone would know would be like Melee, right? Melee, my very first tournament character was Roy. Roy is fucking dog shit. He is really, really bad. I was getting good with him too. I started getting like 17th at my locals and stuff. And people started counterpicking me with Sheik. It's an absolutely dog shit matchup. It's like an 8-2. It is fucking impossible to beat Sheik with Roy in Melee. You just can't do it. And that's why I switched. And not only that, okay, a low tier can't be top tiers. That's fine. But specifically, there were these twins. I remember there's these two twins. One played Bowser and the other one played Samus. And Samus was rated higher than Roy, so I was like, this matchup is hard, but I do well, and like we go even. The issue was the Bowser player, because in Melee, at the time, I don't know where Bowser is right now, but at that time, everyone's like, Bowser is dog, right? We played on Yoshi's Story and Fountain of Dreams. Not Fountain of Dreams, Dreamland 64. He beat me 2-0. He beat me 2-0, right? He beat me 2-0, but it was like a close 2-0, And I remember looking at him, and I was like, Roy doesn't win this matchup, right? And he's like, yeah, I think this is maybe one of Bowser's good matchups. Maybe like a 6-4 for Bowser. And when he said he thought it was 6-4 for Bowser, I was like, Roy is dog shit. Roy is so bad. There's no fucking way. There is no way that he is as good as people say he is if he has this a terrible matchup against this terrible character. There's no way. So that's my line. Basically, like, and since then, a lot of old games, and this is actually gonna come up in a video that I'm gonna post in maybe like a week or two. A lot of old games have actual dog shit characters. Either they're incomplete, or they just have tools that don't work, or nothing is scary, or they never combo, or they just don't have shit, right? Where in modern games, usually the issue is not that the character is bad, but that the good characters are just better. Right? But some people really fight. They really fight for this. The lowest tier is never B, is D, right? So, and to me, I think it's an okay argument, but I don't accept it. I don't accept the argument. So, my fix is this. And you might remember this, because actually the past couple of tier lists I've made, I have done this. And I'm going to stick to this for a while. We have wins, relevant, counterpick, niche. That's kind of what I used for the past couple of Guilty Gear tier lists that I made, and I'm basically going to stick with this, I think, because it is extremely clear. I always tell people what I think is important for me in a game when I make a tier list too, but I think with this, using this method, I get to talk about the state of the game, how I think of the state of the game in a clear way without having to explain what the tiers mean straight up. And the only thing we have to talk about is the characters. And that's what I'm sticking with. This is what I'm doing forever. So the main reason why I remade all my main tier lists is because the first time I did it by letters. I had like triple S, double S, because I think Kokonoe is actually broken. So like legitimate game ruining, like ban worthy character. So I think she's triple S, like literally ruins the game type shit. But when I remade it using Sejam's method, if you remember, Sejam's method was something like anyone can cook, and then they did the heavy lifting. So when I did it this way, I actually put characters in different spots than when I did it with letters, and I found that pretty interesting. And I was like, when I did that, I was like, for sure, never again will I make a tier list with letters. I will always be like, it's like this. So okay, I'm putting that out there. You guys can use this way if you want, or you can make your own, whatever's important for you. Tier lists are meant to stir discussions, so that's my goal. Trendsetter LK, try and do it again. This type of tier list makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think that's just it for the future. So whenever I do make a Strive tier list, I don't think I'll actually make an official Strive tier list until after Arc Revo. So that's going to be at the end of March. Look forward to that. It is a while. I think having some text in the tier list adds important context. Yes. And the first time I did that in a tier list, it got a really good reception. And people were like, oh, this is actually a really interesting way of doing it. And we should probably do this. So.